we just take the gentleman behind you?
Good points, absolutely. But the problem is, of course, if the person who wants to deconvert, it's a young couple, etc. They're living in a one-bed flat, and they have a kid, maybe twins or whatever. Flat next door comes up. Why not deconvert? Should they be pushed out of Westminster, living somewhere else, if they've been living in Westminster for so long? It's a very, very complicated thing, I think. And indeed, it probably needs to be taken on a case-by-case basis. And I'm not sure if the overriding principle should actually be simply the number of dwellings in Westminster, or whether it should be the actual needs of the people. If we're seeking to satisfy statistics, or if we're seeking to satisfy the needs of the residents.
Okay, so you're suggesting a case-by-case approach rather than a blanket approach?
With a general principle of looking after the residents.
Okay, there's a woman over here at the...
I'm a resident in a Church Street area, been there for 40 years. I hope I don't understand that this lady who spoke has said that you appear to say that there's not much call for single flats for single people. You said about two-bedroom flats and so on. You must bear in mind when you're planning your flats that it has been publicly announced in various papers that there are a lot of people, more and more people living alone, and that continue to live alone.
Did you want to clarify the statistics on surplus one beds, or should we just record the view? I don't know if you wanted to clarify.
Sir, hello. My name is Fergus Coleman. I'm the Housing Development Manager working in the Housing Department. Basically, my experience in terms of demand for one beds, we have about over 5,000 persons in priority need on our waiting list. However, the existing social housing stock in the main, 50% is still one bedroom. So the future demand currently, as it presents itself, is being met by turnover within the stock that we already have. On the other hand, is obviously it's 2 beds and 3 beds that are presenting themselves primarily as the predominant need at the moment.
Sorry, there was a woman just behind who had her hand up. Yes.
I'm not clear on what you mean between affordable housing and in the private sector. Now, I can't understand why the council is dictating to the private sector when the council does not build for the private sector. And it may be that when you're considering affordable housing, you're considering the market value as to what it would be in the private sector. So are you also saying you're going to sell a lot more properties?
No. Yeah, perhaps.
This is about a planning document, and planning is pretty tenure neutral. We have to build homes or whatever it is we're going to be building, and so we do need to plan for all sectors and all tenures. You say we don't.
But is there legislation that says Westminster Council decides how big a property developer builds his home?
Basically, we have some control over that, yes, and we are obliged to plan for new homes, some of which will be in the affordable sector, and some of which will not.
No profit at all.
It's nothing to do with profit.
Well, I'm just
planning.
asking the question.
Okay, no,
it seems to me then that what you're attempting to do is to bring affordable housing up to a par with other residential private dwellings. That's how I understand it.
Well, the rents are going that way.
I see nothing wrong with that, quite frankly. But I think you're never going to do it.
Yeah, just to cover this issue very briefly, on social rented housing, the rents are controlled centrally by government and they're set.
I'm talking size, sir.
Well, sizes, just in passing, obviously, are determined by the Homes and Communities Agency in terms of where funding is made available to deliver affordable housing, and they're subject to certain standards which they prescribe. But it is important that the rents are obviously set centrally and are different from private rents.